White, who I believe voted on Saturday.
Good morning, Ruben. I was here.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Steven TV. Guys, when I watch this video, waiting RFI and Dr. Abati said about this election. Guys, when I watch this video, it's very, very much interested for you guys to watch this video because the election of Nigeria has turned to do or die. Election of Nigeria has become something that is no more. We don't require a competent character and a past experience for someone to rule or to govern or to win election. What election or Nigerian election requires now is only for you to has the number of thugs, who has the greater power in thuggery, who has the greater power in violence. Guys, when I watch this video,
who I believe
thanks
voted
for
on
watching.
Saturday.
Good morning, Ruben. I was here. I was here to work on Saturday, so I couldn't vote. You know where I have to vote.
I know.
Somewhere.
You were on essential duty.
Correct. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, your fans.
elections.
Yes, your fans in Warri asking after you, Rufai. They wanted to see Rufai. Why did you not bring Rufai? Now, yes, if we just start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Gorgeous, Mrs. Ayo Myro Essay.
Okay, I mean, so a lot has to be said about the elections. At first, over 28 states were fighting for. When you look at it, most of the incumbents could win back their states. They narrowly, in some cases, did win. A case of Ogun was really neck and neck. And
that was close.
that was so close. I like Dr. Bati did say NMPP said they're going to go to court, but I'm also hearing that Adebutu says he's going to challenge it too in court. We're going to have a lot of court cases, which was not supposed to be the intention of this Beavers process. There was widespread violence. But I think the most important thing we should ask ourselves is, how did these people win? Let's come to a place like Lagos. What happened in Lagos was totally unacceptable. A lot of ethnic and tribal chaos. People went out and suppressed votes. I mean, look at what happened in VGC. People had been voting in a particular area, and then all of a sudden INEC says, come and vote on the expressway.
That would have been a recipe for chaos.
That was a recipe for chaos, where you know that there are boys, area boys and thugs around that could easily come scuttle the process like we see in other parts. And that case had to take a lot of intervention before they were allowed to vote the second day. And also the second day, look at the skirmish as regards time of ending voting and counting. People, guns were pointed at them. They had to vote at gunpoint. Somebody told me the story of a 60-year-old man. That gun was pointed at and told to vote a certain political party.
Where were the security?
Where were the security authorities? In some cases, kudos to them. They stood up tall. Look at the case of Ikota. But in some other cases, they looked away while these thugs had a free reign. So are you telling me that thugs will have a free reign in a state, we can't nip them in the bud? So it shows a lot of and that's why I asked the question, what did we win? Did we win the chaos, or we won the confidence of the people? Did we win the trust, or we won the distrust of the people? A lot of things that happened were unacceptable. It was a demonstration of grace. What is grace? Madness. What is madness? Weary. It was a voracious attitude that was exhibited. That's not democracy. Democracy is supposed to be a festival of ideas and choice.
Well, that's the Yoruba word for grace.
Yes. Democracy is supposed to be a festival for ideas. But on the flip side, you will see people like Sheyi Makinde. That's one with, yes, there were cases of violence reported in Oyo, but not as much as the level of violence in Lagos. There were cases of violence reported in Ogun, but not as much as the level of violence. See other areas, largely peaceful. But you see, these things the politicians do, it is when it favors each other, they do it. If it doesn't favor to them, they don't talk. But when it favors them in the other part, they continue. So I think what behoves on us now, what do we do from here? How will places like Lagos be able to heal? Because either way, we need to find healing to be able to rebuild our society. At what rate are we going to look at each other? Because after the elections, we still have to go to churches and mosques together. But in all, yes, Beavers worked this time around. Electoral officers came on time, which is a kudos to them. But they were massively complicit. There was massive complicity. There was a video that was even making the round that when they were counting the vote of a political party, the INEC official, NYC, was dancing with them.
Beavers working. I think it's also perspective because whilst, yes, it captured the electorate, but people said that they were not transmitting results as well. So there were issues around that. So despite that, and there was a video that also made the rounds where an INEC official was boldly saying, come and vote, but we are not going to transmit results. So they already knew.
Yes.
With the VGC issue...
Was that an instruction from the INEC State Secretariat?
Well, she didn't clarify that, but that's what people are suspecting, because can they carry out orders by themselves? And then how come it seemed to be the same across different polling units? So obviously it seems like he infers that they must have received orders from above. With the VGC issue, some people, the INEC staff, in their defense, said that the last time they came on the 25th of February to conduct elections in VGC, they were held hostage. So they were not allowed to go home till the early hours of the morning. And so in protecting their staff, they said they should not, they should not set up inside VGC.
They did not conclude their elections,
yes.
And they wanted to leave. So you cannot leave.
So
conclude the elections
before you leave. So it wasn't
not as if they were held hostage.
Exactly.
These were trying to give a dog a bad name.
The reports that were held and trying to balance, because we also had to present their own, what their excuse was. However, videos emerged the night before of how the VGC residents had particularly set up ready for INEC to come. So in terms of organization, and traditionally, the polling units in VGC have been known to be conducted quite well because you have intellectuals, you have elites who live there, and people who are used to organizing things properly.
We saw it yesterday. We covered all through the day
yes, and we saw Arise correspondents were on ground. Now, going back to a statement, to what I want to touch on, in terms of perhaps one of the most infamous statements of the weekend, made by former Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, saying that the election in River State, at least, wasn't against PDP, but was against INEC and the police. Then he talks about the fact that the INEC chairman, Professor Yakub Mahmoud, was renominated by an APC, someone who is
Tinubu wing of APC.
Now the INEC chairman was reappointed in 2020, so he's had 3 years to come out to raise this alarm. Say he wasn't ready for that yet. February 25, he had an opportunity to raise the alarm. Unfortunately, it was when things were not, because he's backing the APC candidate in River State. Then he comes out to say that, oh, this is what it is. I do think that he needs to come to clarify his statement further, even though he said his life might be at risk. But he needs to come out to clarify a bit further, because of course he didn't mention names. And a few other things, in terms of allegations he's made against not just the state governor, but also against INEC chair as well. So this election across board, unfortunately, we've talked about on this show a number of times, and Dr. Batu, you mentioned it earlier today, that there were lessons that ought to have been learned. And we're hopeful, let me use that word, that would be learned ahead of Saturday's elections. But the result of what we saw on Saturday seemed like things got worse rather than lessons being learned to improve the process. And that's quite unfortunate.
Okay, number one. With all these reports of voter apathy, voter suppression, voter intimidation, beavers didn't quite work in many places. In fact, in many states, beavers were stolen. People made away with beavers. So there was failure even at the level of security. Yeah. So what does this say about the legacy of credible elections that President Buhari repeatedly talked about? Because when all of this is over, the February 25 election, the March 18 election, people will ask the question. The president promised, he gave materials, yes, he approved money to be spent, billions of taxpayers' money, but what is it that Nigerians can hold on to? That's one major question. Yes, the integrity of INEC is part of the story. And, Rotimi Amechi, you may say, well, he's been part of this government and all that, but he has expressed his concern. And he raised issues about Mahmoud Yakubu's affiliation with certain major political figures, the president-elect and also the governor of Rivers State. And he's not alone in that regard. The presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has also issued a statement questioning the integrity of Professor Yakubu Mahmoud. Well, but it's not just about him. It's about the behavior of INEC as an institution. Because there have also been videos showing INEC officials helping to thumbprint ballot papers, caught with ballot papers, compromising the process using their official cover. Number 3, you talked about Lagos State. Well, the governor of Lagos State has said he's ready to work with the Labour Party and also the PDP and other, challengers in that election. But would they be ready to work with him? The Labour Party candidate, Gbadebo Rosevival, has said he does not accept the outcome of the election because he considers it a sham. The Afenifere in Lagos State, both the chairman and the Afenifere leader, they have issued a statement to say that, look, election should be rescheduled in some other parts of Lagos, not just in the 10 polling units in VGC and Ikate, because there are other parts of Lagos where issues have been raised. Yes. Number 3, what are the lessons? We've not learned any lessons. Maybe the lessons that we're talking about, will be lessons for the future about technology, about the deployment of INEC, about the need to strengthen INEC as an institution. Number 5, there's going to be a gale of litigations arising from this election. And it's not just in Lagos that people have been talking about going to court. And that's why it's interesting that the article I referred to earlier by Chidion Dinkalo, in which he was saying that, look, the next round of voting will now be in the courts. But what would this say about the future? One of the points made by Gbadebo Rosevival is that we have now created a situation in Nigeria whereby in the next elections, nobody is going to talk about issues. Everybody is going to prepare to win by any means possible. So don't ask about manifesto, don't ask about issues. On election, they just bring out your own thoughts. But what would that say about the future of Nigeria? Anyway, thank you, Emmanuel Efeni.
Hello guys, thank you for watching the video. Please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Steven TV 06, and also follow my Facebook page, Steven TV. Thank you guys. Like, comment, share to your friends, guys. Thank you guys.